Welcome to episode number 79 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast.
That was good and strong.
That was strong.
Taking up for the other three that aren't here.
Two,
have excuses.
Pulling weight for
2,
3, 5. Because I don't say anything on that. I let that go. So it's the 5 of y'all.
Omaha.
Exactly. I just call the audible and y'all run
It's
the
an
play.
audible.
How's that? That's a pretty good analogy there, wasn't it?
There you go. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah, and then there were 3.
Stooges.
We got one that's gone to rehab.
We
said
write that one down.
no.
Yeah, I do need to write that one down.
Okay, I'm Curly. What does that make you? That he's Mo.
3 Stooges.
I oughta.
Yeah, Allen's in rehab, so he's got a pass. You know, we're not going to make him
Physical rehab.
Well, there might be some mental going on there too.
He needs some lungulation. So pray for lung power.
Lungulation.
Lungulations, lung power.
It almost sounds like a form of exercise
I guess
for his lungs.
if that's what he needs, for sure.
Yes, our buddy Allen's been in the hospital rehab now for over 35 days, 36 days.
Hospital now, rehab hospital for like a week.
Yeah,
trying to get those lungs working. But
so
at least.
Y'all that have been asking about him, praying for him, continue. He's in good spirits, and he's conversing with us, and we appreciate that. But yeah, he's still got a ways to go because it's going to take him a while to get those things working back again. But yeah, he is back in Allen now. He got out of Plano. Maybe that'll heal him.
Thank God.
Because he was in Plano.
That's like the new movie, Escape from Plano.
He doesn't heal anything else in Plano.
Yeah. So, anyhow, he's not there. And the 2 other knuckleheads, I don't know where they're at. And, hey, they weren't at the game either, so it's probably just as well that the 3 of us get to discuss it.
Yeah. Because it was an interesting, fun game.
I want to start this off a little differently.
Sure.
I just want the 2 of you to listen for a minute. Okay?
All right.
Just listen. You can close your eyes if you want.
Okay.
It's just
all
one
right.
tip.
Close our eyes.
If you close your eyes, you might go to sleep. We had a late night. Late night, early morning, everything. We'll get into that in a little bit. Okay. Listen to this. Describing a team. Tell me who you think. Tell me who you think of when you hear this. Okay. If I told you this a year ago or 5 years ago, team is 7-0, ranked 4th in the state, 2nd in the DFW area by the Dallas Morning News. They've beaten 2 state-ranked teams.
Okay.
They're averaging 34 points a game, 363 yards a game. The defense is giving up 18 points and 253 yards per game.
Okay.
They go to quarterback who has several D1 offers and several other D1 players on both sides of the ball. So, if I were just to say that to you without naming anybody, what would you think?
Perennial powerhouses. Back in the day, the Trinities, the Duncanvilles, the South Lakes.
The Allens, maybe?
Well, yeah, the Allens. I'm trying to leave Allens out of that because we know Allen. But, yeah, it sounds like an Allen team. Sounds like a 2007 Allen team.
You know who that team is?
Yeah.
That was Guyer.
Yeah.
I figured that's what it was.
That was Guyer coming into the Friday night's game against
They were a giant killer. They had a really great showing against Tascasita. Forced errors.
Yes.
Guyer's defense is no joke.
They beat Tascasita, and then they beat Denton Ryan, which,
That's even though Denton's 5A, right?
They are 5A, but they're the number 1 team, or they were the number 1 town.
Exactly.
They're
They get slouches at all.
They could play 6A.
Yeah, they did a couple of years ago, and we beat them in the playoffs that year. Spencer Sanders.
2015, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
We beat them twice in 2015.
So that was Guyer going into Friday night's game, and I thought about this morning, and I was getting ready for this. I was like, this is the first time in a long time the roles were kind of reversed. Mm-hmm. Because if you looked at anybody's predictions for this game in the media, which is where you get all the predictions.
The vast majority.
All but one.
Yeah.
Our buddy, Corbett Smith, who many years ago said,
I will not go
against Allen again.
Was the only one to pick Allen in this game. So we gave him props.
Thank you, Corbett.
Yeah. We gave Corbett props on Twitter for having the kahunas to stand up and stick to his conviction of many years ago and pick Allen. And by golly, he looks smarter this week because of it.
And maybe he saw something. I mean, there's a lot of thinking that goes into these people's analysis, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah. I think he probably saw, like other people saw after the Little Elm game, what a turn the team made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the mistakes were just like non-existent. Didn't punt. You know, and I think he saw something there. You know, and I think that's where he came to his conclusion.
He might have, and I, as I said a minute ago, to me this was a role reversal game because how many times have we looked at Guyer when we've played a Guyer team that is, you know,
really good,
5-1, 6-1,
right, really good,
very good, you know, can be really good, but everybody's not as high on them as they can be at times.
Yeah.
And there's been many times when it's been Allen has been this, what I described earlier.
That's right.
And Guyer comes in and you're the underdog. And I really do. I have no problem with people saying Allen was the underdog in this based upon performance.
We were. Yeah, no doubt.
We were.
Year to date.
No doubt.
Year to date. And so you're coming into a game, highly anticipated, against a really good team at their place. And you're like, what's the best way to, start a game like that?
Well, we found out.
We did find out.
Yeah, I think the first thing was it was at their place.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and the way they've been rolling and the Tascasita who beat us gave them that advantage. Just like when we were playing home. Yeah. Up until that Tascasita, I mean, it was a huge advantage for us.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about a couple, I guess, not housekeeping things, but it wasn't a terribly intimidating environment. It's not like the house was packed.
Good grief, no.
I've never seen some.
We did not travel very well.
No.
For whatever reason, whether it's because the game was televised, there were not a ton of people in our stands. The band was unfortunately not there when it came time to play the school song.
That was true, too.
And we can talk about that now if you want to.
Let's go.
All right. They didn't even get in the stands until almost the end of the first quarter.
And so the announcer, God bless his heart,
called
it out. Called it out and said, hey, the Allen band is not here, but we will turn it over to the Allen fans and student section to sing their school alma mater. And
watermelon.
So, we yelled at the student section and encouraged them and got them hopefully riled up a little bit. And half of them just kept turning around looking at us like, who are these crazy old people up there?
Why are they telling us to sing? We don't know the song.
Hey, learn the school song. Do it. But I give credit. There were a bunch of the student section that did sing it. We sang it as best as we could.
Yep.
I think we had sponsored some banners on the part of the cheer squad that I wish they'd had with them.
We did, and that's a good point.
Wish they'd had with them.
Anybody who's listening who has access to those banners, bring them back out because people, it's an easy song. You can learn it. It takes like 10 minutes.
Yep.
You sing it 6 or 7 times a year, you'll never forget it.
And with as few fans as we had, we could have had both banners on either side. Roll them out.
Even in our home games, they could display the banner on the screen.
Well, and they were. Maybe they stopped at some point last year. This year, I haven't seen it displayed on the screen.
I didn't remember seeing it last
to.
year either. I think it's been 2 years since it's been up there.
But they had it up there, and so they stopped using the banners.
So the slide is there.
Yeah.
The slide to put on the screen is somewhere.
Yeah. And even if we're in a away game and we don't have the screen control,
get the banners.
Get the banners out. Carry them with you.
It's 2 simple banners.
Yeah.
They're laying in some closet somewhere.
And if it's hard to get a pyramid formation with a couple of the cheerleaders, we'll get you an extendable pole that you can lift it up and you don't have to do a formation.
It's PVC pipe. It's simple.
Yep. And I brought this up during the game. And
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
I just remember back in the day, we would arrive at the stadium and the area for the band would already be existing.
It's roped off.
Speakers in place, everything ready to go for the band to show up.
Parking lot cordoned off for the buses and the
looked up during the game and nothing on either side. Still waiting on the band and everybody to show up. So
and I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody in the band, and I'm not going to get myself in trouble again, but that is one of the hardest places. Mesquite Memorial, and Guyer, to me, or that C.H. Collins, are two of the worst places to try to get to on a Friday night. Yeah. They really are. Right. And they got caught up in traffic
for whatever reason. They weren't there.
They weren't on time.
On time.
And God bless them. They got there, and they actually had band competition the next day too. So it was a long day and night for those people.
Well, Little Elm showed up late to their band showed up late to their game too.
That's true.
With us,
it's just
last week.
Yeah. But to go back to your point that started this whole circle we just went through, it was not an intimidating place at all.
No.
And I was very surprised by that.
Yeah.
And I know Guyer's not a huge school, but with a game of this magnitude, with a very good team, I expected more fans to be there.
Yeah. Period.
And I was very shocked by that. And again, we've seen a steady decline in attendance at Allen away games. Home games too, for that fact, but Allen away games, certainly we've seen it. So I can't say I was totally surprised by that. One of the reasons being it is so hard to get to. It's a beating of monumental proportion to get over there.
If you don't leave early enough, you're caught up in traffic. 380 has not been expanded beyond 2 lanes on either side, and
it's just hard. And I didn't. Sherry and I didn't go 380. We actually took 35 and came with the loop, which was not bad at all. I was very surprised by that. And again, we arrived by 6 o'clock too, which you got to you don't want to arrive at 6:45 because then you're really in traffic on a Friday night. But it's just a hard place to get to, but that I was surprised by that there weren't so few Guyer fans in the stands. But here or there, Allen wins the toss, and Coach Morse.
Yeah, according to his tendency, he wants the ball.
He does want the ball. He's got a lot of confidence in this offense.
Rightfully so.
With good reason. So you start off with Mr. Hawkins and Mr.
First play from
Jenkins in the background. Oh, and I have to. In fact, I'm going to have James is going to make a confession here right now.
Yeah, there was a memory problem.
That's a good way to put it.
With old guys.
Yeah, with old guys. Well,
explain the story so people don't get on to me.
I use memory cards for my camera.
Yes.
I have a 128 gig card, and it tells me when it's in the camera what amount of time of recording that I've got at 4K, because I record at 4K. Allows me to zoom in, zoom out, easy and stuff.
Right.
And I put it back in the computer during my day on Friday, or the morning, thinking, okay, I need to move some files off because I only had an hour and 16 minutes, which would have been plenty of time. I packed up to go, and I left the memory card in the memory slot in the computer. Got to the game, looked it up, it's like, oh, crap. Okay, that's it. But when you make a mistake like that, you just, you say, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to worry about it.
Now, what have you done in the past when that's happened?
Oh, I've run out to the store. Nolan, take me to the drugstore, CVS. But that was when I was doing tape. Yeah. I don't know that I did that with a memory card.
Yeah.
But
so all that to say, we don't have video for you of all these plays that we're going to discuss. But I would encourage you, if you follow Matt Welch on Twitter, to go to Matt Welch's page, because he has the majority of them
from the press box.
Plays, from the press box.
From the press box. Maybe we can talk to him about seeing if we can use his clips.
He wouldn't care if we use his stuff. But yeah, they're out there on Matt Welch's Twitter page. And so that'll be something to, if you're interested. If you didn't go to the game, if you didn't watch it on NFHS.
There's some great plays, some great things, some
so you
really
can see them there.
Some missed calls by the refs. And no, we're not being Arkansas fans by complaining about the refs.
Bad.
So,
there's some bad calls.
Allen gets the ball at their own 25 to start the game. And just a simple
first play from scrimmage.
Sweep to the right. And it's
Jalen Jones breaks through a couple Jalen Jenkins.
Jalen Jones.
Well, I was watching the Ole Miss game. Yeah.
He does. He breaks through the right side. And it's Church.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can.
That's it. His acceleration is spectacular.
We determined they have no one on that defense as good as it is that runs as fast as Jalen Jenkins.
Yeah. That's true.
Because they could not catch him.
So that would be a negative on the Guyer's defense.
Exactly. So 12 seconds into the game, and it is 7-0 Allen. And you're like, okay, underdog on the road.
Punch to the face.
Smack you right here.
Your turn, Guyer. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know about you guys, and I don't know if I told you, or I told somebody after the game, it's been a long time since I felt so, I don't know what the word is.
Really?
No, just, I was into that game.
Comfortable, confident?
No, just intensely into the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was more vocal than I've been in forever, and it was just, every play was like, it was, and I think I told you, it reminded me of the 2012, 2013, 2014 DeSoto games.
Yeah.
Right.
You told me.
Where you're just like, you know it's going to be tough, you know it's going to be hard, you know they're good, and you just hope, the breaks go your way.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, when he did that, it was like, okay, game on, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Well, and speaking of celebrations and the challenges that we faced with the DeSoto games, we had at least a 5-year run with DeSoto where we were their kryptonite. We owned them, just like South Lake Carroll owned us in the mid 2000s.
Yep.
From 2003 till 2006, we've owned DeSoto, and thank you so much to Tom, the man Westerberg, for reminding us about the celebration at the end of the DeSoto win in 2015.
Yep.
That was Seth Green and number 2. That was the quarterback. Seth Green and Junkie.
Mitch Junkie
were the quarterbacks back then, and they split some time back then. I think Junkie was the primary. But in 2015 against DeSoto in Texas Stadium, we ended up winning 41-40 because they missed the extra point because their lack of special teams. But there was a great deal of celebrating, not unlike the celebration that happened after this win. There was a video of the locker room of doing a little crowd surfing by one of the coaches.
And we actually, he tweeted that to James. And I tweeted back, I said, I wonder whose vault that's sitting in somewhere. So it's going to surface here in the next week or two.
It needs to. I
imagine. So Allen goes up 7-0, 12 seconds into the game, and you're like, okay, let's see how Guyer responds. And they do. They go, 16 plays.
A nice drive. Big long drive.
63 yards. Took a long time. Jackson Arnold is their quarterback.
Yeah.
And this is a kid who actually this weekend got an offer from Ohio State.
Well, good for him.
And he's got a Cincinnati offer, who's now number 2 in the country after the polls came out today. So, and what a quick release this kid has.
Yeah.
This is 2 weeks in a row you've seen quarterbacks that last week's guy had a cannon of an arm, and I think Jackson's got a pretty live arm too.
I think he's a little bit, if you can disrupt him, he's a little bit shakier.
We're going to get into that because there was a lot of that going on.
Well, but the sense, you talked about being into the game, that first series, 16 plays that they had on the first series, there were a couple third downs where it was really close. I don't know if they went for it on fourth down at all during that series. Twice on that series?
Yep.
The defense was really playing well.
Yep.
And Randy Webb, it's Randy Webb, right? Head coach moved over from Rockwall. Rodney Webb. Yeah. Maybe it was Ricky Webb. Anyway.
Maybe it was Ricky Bobby.
Maybe
it's just our Webb.
If you're not first, you're last. No, but so he's an incredibly good coach. He's got a lot of history. He's a good coach, a lot of history.
Yep.
And he was not punting on fourth down.
He was not.
He had a couple longer fourth down plays, and our defense came really close to stopping them a couple different times.
Yeah.
So the defense was really doing well. It's just you've got to put 3-4 good stops together. But they drove down, and was it a running score or passing score?
It was an 8-yard pass to Grayson O'Bara, who had a huge night.
Yeah, he was like 130 yards passing with one TD reception.
Yep, and that was it. It was the first one.
Yeah. And then they had three other receivers. I think they were all around 50 yards, 50, 50, and then 56.
One of them being, if you remember, number 5, his name, Jace Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, Jace Wilson is the brother of the basketball player from a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Who went to Kansas on scholarship and is playing in Kansas. Jace is his younger brother. Jace will be playing basketball, but right now he's involved in football. Okay. So the big, tall, number 5 receiver is a basketball player as well. So we'll see him again before this is all said and done. So, tie score.
Crow Down scored.
It's, with 8 minutes left for 4 minutes gone, and you're tied 7-7. So we're like, okay, settle back in.
Get a drive.
Your turn, offense. Offense says, okay, we'll do it again. They went 10 plays, 75 yards. And this is when you started to see, in my mind, something that you hadn't seen. And again, this is my perspective of this, and others may see it. What I will call very intentional quarterback runs by Mr. Hawkins. Yep. Some of it was on dropbacks, and he had to scramble for his life. But he ran hard.
He did.
Very hard.
A couple he got stopped on, but he got some good yardage.
Yep. 3rd and 9 at the 26, he ran for 16. He completed a pass to our buddy Cooper Cole.
Yep.
The 15 for 14 yards into Denton Guyer territory. The next play, Devin Turner, who had another nice game, is splitting time with Jenkins, ran 26 yards. And then on 2nd and 11 from the 19, our other buddy now, Jacob Brazier, catches a 19-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
And
beautifully placed pass, and Brazier just hauled it in.
He beat his guy. He was open by a couple steps, and it's 14-7. And you say, okay, well, the one thing I think we started seeing, because both of these drives were run heavy,
right?
You were starting to see that Guyer did not have an answer for the run game.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and this team, the Allen team, gets cranked up on the running game, it's typically going to be a pretty good night. When it gets cranked up and they're holding on to the ball. I want to say that too. Because turnovers, again, we've spoke for, this is what, 6 weeks now, 7 weeks of football. And for the first 5, we talked every week about turnovers. And yes, you won 4 of those 5 games, but you had all those turnovers in each of those games, and those games should have been, not as close as they were.
It's a momentum killer, plus it gives the other team the opportunity to catch up on the score when they, you don't want them to have that opportunity. So this game, 0 turnovers on either team.
Yep.
But the thing is, with that next Guyer series after the Allen touchdown to Brazier, how many plays was that? But they ended up going for it on 4th down.
They did. It was a 10-play drive, and they got down to the Allen 14-yard line.
And minus 5 yards to the 19.
Well, they went pass, and first, second, third down, all incomplete, which, and you got to go back, and I give them credit. Rodney Webb, you say, is a very good coach. And I think later in the game, you saw this happening. They have it's a short passing game.
Yeah.
Now, they will go deep on you if they have time to go deep on you.
Right.
But this kind of started, incomplete, and then on 4th down it gets sacked.
Right.
Which is the first of 8 sacks they had on the night. You're like, okay. And we've said this for as long as football's been going on. If you can get pressure on a quarterback, I don't care who it is, it makes his job a whole lot harder.
Right.
What I saw in warm-ups, which warm-ups is a different game.
Look at David watching warm-ups.
Was we'll do warm-ups, the quarterback throwing to the wide receivers, and they're quick slants out in across the middle or out into the sides and stuff like that. And we don't do that when the game comes. Yep. Okay. Guyer practiced that in all their snaps before the game,
right?
And that's what they did all night long. Was the short little slants, the short little across the middle, short little outs, and they that's their game. That's what they play.
Well, the slot receivers especially.
Oh, especially.
They'll take 2 steps, turn, run the balls right on them because he does. Like I say, he gets it out quick
delivery,
and then it's a matter of can I break a tackle to turn it 2-yard, 3-yard pass into a 7 or an 8-yard gain or more.
Well, and the thing was that either the outside receiver was driving the defender back far enough. He was going on halfway a go route, whatever, to take the defender back. Quarterback either has a chance to scramble or he has a chance to dump it out to the slot, who either pulls back. And because of the way we were covering that, we had the linebacker who was staying 10 yards off, but he was cheating towards the center, towards the box. And he would move out if he needed to, but if that slot goes out, then the linebacker is further away, and especially if the linebacker doesn't recognize it right away, he's open. He's going to catch the pass, and then you're 5-10 yards down the field, before either the corner comes up or the safety or that linebacker adjusts enough.
Yeah, and
so it's tough.
It also allowed for them to. They did it so often that people would spread out and go to the outsides on both sides, and that left the middle wide open for the quarterback to go on a scramble.
Well, and that's why they had 307 yards passing.
Yeah, and again, in this game to me, and I thought about this one a lot because I was really into it. At the end of the day, yards don't mean a hill of beans.
It's exactly right. Because like on this fourth down, that whole drive was for naught. They had a lot of yards.
It's all about
came
points.
Up in nothing.
You can get 7,000 yards in a game. I don't care. Good luck doing it, but you will score a lot on that. But if you don't score, it's just what you say. It's for naught.
And as much pressure as we got on the quarterback, he was 26 of 37, 70% completion. So he was on. He had a good night.
Again, short passing game like that.
Yeah,
he did now. Until he had pressure on it, because there were several times, especially in the first quarter, he
threw it away or he threw it short,
high or short, several times.
We saw that. We saw that yesterday when instead of going for a fourth down, kick field goals. A lot of 3 points add up to a lot of points.
Yeah, we went to the Texas OSU game down at Austin yesterday, and for the Texas faithful, it was tough.
It was.
Yeah, but my Texas Tech Red Raiders won yesterday, so woohoo!
Allen takes over leading 14-7 at their own 19-yard line, and this drive only had two passes in it. Yeah. It was a 16-play drive, went 81 yards, and it's Hawkins and Jenkins running the ball.
Yeah.
And
a good long
Guyer
drive.
Can't stop. Yeah. And from 3 yards out, Hawkins rushes in for a 3-yard touchdown, puts Allen up 21-7. And there's your 2-score lead.
Yeah.
And then it really, anytime you get 2 scores ahead on somebody, I think the pressure elevates not only on the defense to, okay, you got to stop, but the offense really starts to press because they've got to
perform.
They've got to perform when their defense is having a hard time performing. Allen goes up 21-7. Guyer gets the ball back. They go on a 15-play drive, get down to the Allen Eagle 26 on fourth down. Again, they're not punting, they're not kicking field goals, and they go for it, and quarterback gets sacked again.
Yeah, minus 5 yards.
So that's 2 series in a row where
the defense stepped up and stopped them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Way to go, Branscombe. Way to go. They're playing the right personnel.
Yeah.
Anybody who complains doesn't know what the hell they're talking about at this point. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, we don't
know
exactly know who you're talking about, but we're trying to find out.
Well, disgruntleization is not a good look.
Football player parental disgruntleization, as you call it, is
well, that's the Thadism.
It's a funny thing to see on social media, but anyhow.
Yeah.
Allen goes up. They get the ball back. They go 5 plays, 5 yards. You're like, ugh.
Was that the series that Osel came in, or no?
No.
Yes,
it was.
It was. Yeah, they get more than 5 yards.
He did. Lathan Van Alstad came in. He ran for 4. Turner did a little bit too much dancing on the next play and lost 5 yards.
Yeah.
And then on 3rd and 11, he completed it to Jenkins for 6.
Couldn't quite break it out to get that first down. And
so Allen then has their only punt of the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think you're correct. With 4 minutes left.
Yeah. Caden
before halftime
has 1 punt, 49 yards. Guyer gets the ball. They go 14 plays, 85 yards in a minute 13.
Yeah. It was a nice drive on their part.
They can go quick, man. They line up to the line and then they go. I mean, place called, and sometimes they'll change it. But
well, and
this one though, I think there was a bust in coverage or somebody didn't get over on the receiver, and that was actually Jace Wilson.
Yeah,
he was going down the left side, and if you watched the play on Twitter, I saw it. The corner has him at first, but he rolls into the guy doing a hook in the middle of the field, and the safety doesn't roll over. I'm not sure if the corner was supposed to stay with him because the safety acted like it wasn't his man, but there was obviously some miscommunication there. He was wide open over in the left corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Yeah. Makes it 21-14. Excuse me, with 8 seconds left in the second quarter. So you go to halftime and you're up 7. Yeah. Guyer's going to get the ball to start the second half. So you're like, whew, what's the defense going to do? And actually, that is not true. Why does it say that?
Well, they had a minute 13. There's about 3 minutes left.
This is really screwed up on the morning.
Yeah, so we ended up driving. It was a 9-play drive.
Yeah, we go 9 plays, 81 yards, get a field goal up 24-14.
Yeah.
They get the ball back and go 15 plays, 63 yards, and score. Oh, excuse me. A touchdown.
That was after halftime. They got this screwed up.
Was it 20? It was 24-14 or 24-21 at halftime.
It was 24-14 at halftime. Yeah.
So it was
because we scored 14 points in the third quarter. They scored 14 points they scored 14 points in the third quarter. We need to proofread the morning news. But
yeah,
hey,
sorry guys.
We appreciate that they're out there. Yeah, so it was kind of a tied up third quarter. They scored 14, we scored 14.
So you go to the fourth quarter, you still have your 10-point lead, and you're like, all right, guys, it looks like you're just going to have to do what they do
right
over and over again. Allen's able to get a field goal to go up 31-21. Guyer comes back with a 58-yard touchdown run, which I still can't believe happened.
He blew right through the middle at number 16.
Yep.
Blew right through the middle, and he had some speed too. Our guys couldn't catch up. I think
he was faster than I thought he was going to be.
Sign Shuva catches up to him at the very end and tackles him as he falls into the end zone. So he got the touchdown. And
yes,
or was he short?
He got the touchdown, which makes it 31-28.
Yeah,
at that point. And so now you're like,
okay, we have to respond.
The pucker factor has gone up.
We have to respond.
You do, and they did, which says a lot about this team.
Yeah, a nice 12-play drive.
You got
2 minutes and 44 seconds, which is.
You think about that, a 12 plays and 2:44. It's not taking them long, but it's a lot of plays. But it's just not taking them long.
When you think about football in general, you want to have a 2-minute drill.
Yep.
2-minute drive. That was 2:44, but still very impressive.
Yes. Included and this is where the officials.
Oh God.
Included a face mask penalty.
Where the back judge, who's 35, 40 yards
away.
I think
away from the
David,
play.
I think you're so far back you're out of the picture. Yeah, I can see your legs.
The head linesman, who is looking right at the play, not more than
he's on
more than 5 yards from him.
Yeah, 5.
And not only is he not 5 yards from him, his sole responsibility is to watch where the ball is.
Right.
So he is looking at the running back, Jalen Jenkins.
Right. Who gets his head turned ripped all the way around.
And he doesn't pull a flag. The head referee's standing, behind the play, doesn't throw a flag.
Right. The back judge.
Who's obviously had cataract surgery and has great vision like I do when I had it, throws a flag 35 yards, and the other guy's like, what? I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How did you not see that?
I think Coach Morris gave him a couple, 3 or 4 earfuls.
It was incredible. That poor guy had a rough night, and it was just...
And if that was not bad enough, he followed it up. Was it Zena that made a good tackle or grabbed a bit of the shoulder pad?
On Jackson Arnold was running, and he was going past him, and right. Zena reached out, caught him right here.
Got the shoulder pad.
That is my shoulder.
Well, that's
we clearly saw it.
Yeah.
And he threw a flag.
Yeah.
Called a face mask on it.
Yeah, it was pathetic. It was like, geez. Anyhow, the Eagles go 12 plays, 76 yards. They get a.
Well, that was a field goal.
Jenkins goes 25. No, we're already up.
Oh yeah, already up.
28.
Yep.
Jenkins goes 25 yards for a touchdown. You're up 38-28, and you still have 2 minutes and 36 seconds left in the third quarter. You're like, okay, guys, you're back your 10-point lead. It's a 2-score game. That's what you want. Guyer gets the ball, go back. Gets to the end of the third quarter. They still have the ball. They get down to the Eagle 5-yard line.
Long drive,
yeah.
19-play drive.
Yeah.
You hate it when they extend them that long because it gives them a lot of chances.
Yep. They get down to the 5, and they go for it on 4th down as opposed to kicking a field goal. And
pass falls incomplete.
It's great. You get the ball back. I love the morning news on this guy. Y'all love this. This is the morning news. They say Allen goes 19 plays, 112 yards.
Good job, Allen.
I'm like, holy cow. They do get down to the Guyer 33, and Caden Williams comes in. We need to go back to his initial field goal that he kicked.
Yes.
Because it was a 47-yard field goal.
It was very impressive because how many yards extra did he have? 10, 15 yards?
15
of extra
maybe
clearance?
20 yards.
Yeah, again, I encourage you to go look at Matt Welch's Twitter.
Because he shows it.
He'll have it.
That field goal was good by at least 15 yards. I mean, he drilled that ball dead center, and it was. And so he trots back out now, and he's going to try a 50-yarder.
Yeah.
Like, he's got plenty of legs.
Yeah, exactly.
But someone gets a hand on it.
A little bit of a tip on it. It knuckleballs a little bit and goes out there.
You're like, oh,
short.
man. Because I just knew he was going to make that. I had no worries about it.
I don't know if that was somebody making it around the corner or if he drilled it a little low. A little low. And with the way he's kicking it, he really doesn't have to do extra to get it to go that distance.
No.
But that's psychologically really hard to do. To just kick it like you normally do and trust the leg, trust the follow through. He's got a really fast twitch, quick leg, man.
You wonder how many questions Rodney's fielding this week about leaving 9 points off the board by going on for 4th down.
4th down, yeah, because that's 3 that you're in the red zone that you went for it. 9 points wins you the game, but
do you not trust your defense? Why do you do that? Or do you trust the odds?
I think it's a little bit
making
of a chip on his shoulder where he thinks, we can push the button and win this thing.
If anybody in the audience has any insider wants to make a guess, make a guess. I mean, why would he go for it on all those 4th downs? Is it a
maybe we should call him?
Well, yeah, maybe he would come onto the podcast.
You think?
Hey, Coach Webb.
Hey, we got a question for you.
Hey, yo.
Fleener answers all our questions when we ask him.
Yeah.
So they get the ball back. They drive it down to the Eagle 17, and they have. Actually, they get it down.
Interrogate.
Yeah, to the 22.
They actually get it to the 10.
Why did you go for it on that?
Turn on the light.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to.
Did the light not come on?
Yeah,
he did.
Oh, did it?
He just didn't want to blind me. He was being nice.
That's the worst rate. They get down to the 10-yard line with 1:30 left in the 4th quarter. He gets sacked. 1st down, another sack.
Yeah.
2nd down's incomplete. 3rd down, he gets sacked again. So now it's 4th and goal from the 22.
Yeah.
And he pulls the trigger on a field goal.
Yeah.
Which, is the right call at that point.
Yeah.
They have to score twice anyway.
Yeah, so 30 with 1:14 left in the game, it's 38-31. They try the onside kick. Captain Jacob Bradger recovers the onside kick. And Guyer is out of timeouts.
You think of Rodney.
Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah, it was rock wall, actually. Out of timeouts, Allen runs out the clock, and the celebration begins.
Victory formation.
It is.
It was a good quality win. Big win.
It was a big win, and I think it shows progression.
Absolutely. Progression
Another game.
On all fronts. The kids playing as a team.
Yep.
The coaches coaching as a team, coaching as a group. Cohesion between the kids and the coaches.
Yep.
It's everything you'd want to see in maturation of a football team, where there's so much new stuff.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks in a row to me, which is again, your high school players, no turnovers.
Right.
And it just shows what a difference those things make, even in a high school game. And even when you're much better than a team you're playing, this wasn't the case, but it just goes to show, would have a turnover made a difference in this game? And the answer is probably yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, neither team had a turnover.
Just ask UT turnovers yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't throw those passes. Don't throw those passes out to the flank.
Yeah. Jenkins has another great game. He goes for $190. Hawkins had his best rushing game, I think, of the year. He had 106.
Yep.
Turner had 57. Allen runs for 357 yards. And the Trinity model, Allen can throw the ball, and they do throw the ball more than Trinity does, but that just shows, ground and pound just takes so much out of them. Right. One, it keeps the ball away from the other team.
Right. Ball security, if you're going to do that, you got to have ball security.
Yep.
But it runs that clock out and keeps the ball away from the other team.
Which is awesome,
You've got to have balance. And this Allen team has some pretty doggone good balance.
Yep. Guyer ran for 194 yards, which kind of surprised me. And I'm not sure where all that came from, other than the quarterback.
Well, the quarterback and
No, he had that one long run.
Yes, you're right. That's where.
And then even
where a lot of it came from.
Where number 7 running back, he went for a pretty good run.
27 was their primary quarterback.
But the defensive line played a great game. I mean, they stuffed them, stuffed the hole. They got to the quarterback.
Yeah, it just goes to show, because I don't know about y'all, but I felt when Jackson Arnold would take off and run, and he ran a lot of quarterback runs on purpose, and he scrambled a lot.
Because they would clear out the corners.
Yeah.
And
in 23 carries, he only had 55 yards because of all the sacks.
Yeah. Right.
So there was a lot of negative yardage stuck in there. But yeah, the one kid had 83 yards, and that was the biggest chunk of it.
And the good timely blitzes we had.
My next topic I had on here was to talk about the coach's game plan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because they turned the dogs loose finally. And to me, that was the difference in the game. Because I don't think Guyer... Because if you go back and look at the film all year from Allen...
Yeah, we didn't have any.
You don't have the dogs coming like they came, and they were coming from everywhere. I love the fact that just before the snap, 4 guys would creep up.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know who's
coming,
or if anybody's coming.
Yeah.
Or if anybody's
coming. They back out.
That was awesome.
And, Blake Harvey from the edge, number 35, had a couple sacks on the day.
That was beautiful. The one absolutely dominating sack.
Yep.
He did a little celebrating after that, too. So way to go, Blake.
Blake had a couple sacks. Zena had a sack towards the end of the game. The sack of the night.
Oh, my gosh. It was more of a bear hug.
DJ Hicks, baby.
Nuclear bear hug.
Oh, my Lord.
Jumping off the diving board.
Yeah, like belly flopping.
Well, and you saw that pancake. The one guy gets thrown down, and the guy belly flops on top
and again,
of him.
Arnold's I looked him up. I thought he was 6'4". He's 6'2". He's a good-sized kid, 6'2", 210. But when DJ Hicks decides he wants to bear hug you,
you're going down.
On your back, you're going down. And, boy, everybody just saw it coming. And you were like, oh, no.
He gets engulfed.
But the team as a whole, just fed off those sacks. And I love the fact, again, I love the disguise of you don't know who's coming. And it was very effective. And that's something we hadn't seen.
Right.
And I don't think Guyer saw it. In fact, in the paper, if you read today's paper, Rodney Webb actually made that comment.
It probably could have been one of those things that they've been holding back for this game, particularly.
Well, it's a maturation process, yeah. If you
not
don't have the fundamentals down, you can keep doing more and more creative things.
Yeah, Rodney Webb, here's his quote. They were a very, very, very low-pressure team the entire season coming in tonight, Webb said of Allen. They completely flipped the script on us, and to be honest, we did not anticipate the plan they threw out defensively.
Branscombe.
Boom! Way to go, DC. Again, that's why I go to the coaches and say, as we progress through this season, the coaches are starting to make a change like that.
Right.
Help win a game.
And the fact that the kids can execute it.
Yep.
Because anybody who's raised kids, 14, 15 through 17, 18-year-olds, to get them to do what you tell them to do, it's hard.
No matter how many times you tell them.
Even 20-year-olds, it's really hard to get them to do what you tell them to do.
Even 24-year-olds. Can we keep going?
Well, yeah.
Grandma says, can you get her 63-year-old son?
That's funny. But the coaches, man, kudos to those guys. Did their homework, came up with a great game plan. I love the fact that Hawkins was involved more in the running game. Mm-hmm. Love the blitz package. Three down linemen at times, and you put four, DBs or three linebackers, or two linebackers, and five DBs, or 6 DBs, and you just never knew.
Yeah. Well, and with quarterback runs, I'm always a little bit reluctant to see that because I don't want to put the quarterback in harm's way.
Yeah.
But it's a seasoning thing, just like with a young tree. You want it to get blown around in the wind and stuff. It makes it stronger. It makes it more hardy, and it's going to grow better that way. So Hawkins got rocked a little bit, the other night, and
but you know what?
He pulled it together. He came back. He was able to play through it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good maturing thing to see. And he had some speed, and it's like, where'd you get that speed from?
His daddy.
Like Mom or Dad?
Yeah. Well,
or both.
We know Dad had
or
it.
both.
My question is, how did he get all that hair underneath that helmet?
That's
true.
a head of hair.
I mean, he had his helmet off, and it was like...
Yeah, he did.
Well, blowing in the wind.
And growing up back in the 60s, 70s...
Yeah, I know.
A lot of the kids had hairdos like that. The afro was big back then.
It was.
So
after Friday night, Allen is the only undefeated team in district.
Yeah.
That's at 3-0. Still has 3 games remaining. And Allen has McKinney next week at home for homecoming. They travel to Prosper. And then they get the last home game on senior night is Denton Braswell.
Yep.
Okay, the rest of the district.
Get your mums ready.
Yeah. Here's where it gets fun. Guyer drops to 3-1.
Right.
Guyer has Boyd. They're off next week. And then they have Boyd and Little Elm to finish the season. I'm very interested in this Boyd game because I think Boyd is...
Now, Guyer has Boyd next week. Guyer's off at the end of the season. They don't play the last game on 11-5.
Right.
We talked about that.
Seriously?
Their bye is the last week.
Their bye is the last week, which is a little bit weird. A lot of times
why would
in the
they let them
past,
do that?
I don't know. They get a rest before playoffs. It's
That
weird.
doesn't seem
In
fair.
the past, all of the district teams have taken their bye the same week.
Well, it's not fair. We've had 2 Thursday night games this year. Who else has 2 Thursday night games?
Yeah, that's interesting. They do have Boyd next week. You're at Boyd.
Yeah.
And then they play Little Elm at home.
And so we'll see 2 things. Boyd's not terribly shabby. Guyer's a better team. We'll see how they recover. They should win that game.
So, in the beginning of the season, wasn't it picked Guyer, then Allen, and then Boyd and McKinney?
No, it's Prosper.
Oh, that's right.
Prosper and Boyd.
And Prosper's turning out. It looks like the split of the schools has been a little bit harder on them.
I'd like to see how that's going to pan out.
So Allen's 3-0, Guyer's 3-1, Boyd is 2-1. With games remaining against Guyer, McKinney, and Prosper. I would say Boyd's favored in 2 of those. Mm-hmm. The question is, what do they do next week with Guyer? If they win those 2 of the last 3, they'll be in at 4-2. And then here's where it gets entertaining.
Yep.
Because I don't know what to make of Prosper. Now, Braswell's 2-2 in district, and they have Prosper and Allen left. Mm-hmm. So that game next week between Braswell.
Should we be so bold as to think that Allen's going to win out the rest of the district?
Yes, I am being that bold.
All right.
That is my assumption in this.
Our toughest game, I think, will be on the last one.
Yeah. Prosper does play Braswell at C.H. Collins next week. That game is probably going to be the one to determine the 4th place team.
Yeah. I'd give the edge to Braswell for sure. But
based on offense right now. But we'll see.
Their defense is suspect. But
Yeah.
We'll see what that turns out. It could be a shootout.
Yeah. And then, we talked about it. If Braswell loses Prosper, their remaining game is against Allen.
Yeah.
And you'd hate to see Braswell coming
to
in.
get into the playoff
Gotta
based
beat
on
Allen.
beating Allen.
Yeah, the last game of the year. Prosper still has Braswell, Allen, and Boyd left. Which, to me, you look at that and say, that's 3 games they could lose very easily. And then Little Elm is 1-3, McKinney's 0-3, and I think those guys have pretty much punched their ticket to the
outhouse.
The outhouse? Yeah, I don't think
or the rest home.
It's out.
Yeah,
they're out.
They're out. Yeah, they are out.
Well, it'll give them a chance to practice basketball.
There you go. Well, McKinney don't need to practice no basketball.
No, well, they're going to take a little lesson from us before they get punched out.
Yeah, the homecoming. I'm excited about this week's game for various reasons. But, so that's the district, and it'll be interesting to see who will be able to, button down this 4th place. I think the first 3 are. Even if Boyd beats Guyer next week, I still think Guyer will get in. Boyd will obviously get in. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. I was looking over in 6A.
Who would play?
Which Louisville and Hebron are both 4-0. Flower Mound Marcus is 3-1.
When was the last time Hebron had a good season like that?
Well, they're 4-3 overall, so they're doing fine in districts.
Last time were they 4-0?
It's the Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah.
Well, they play 3 of the 4 Plano schools, so.
Silly me.
Yeah, you got to remember that.
And Flower Mound High School beat, I think, was Plano East last night, or the Friday night.
Friday night. Because Hebron, they played Guyer first game of the year and got beat by 29. They lost to Martin by 44.
Yeah, that
They
was
lost
a tough
to Eaton by 1, but they beaten East, they beaten Plano, and they actually beat Coppell last week. So
yeah,
they still have Plano West on their schedule, but they haven't played Louisville.
Coppell is way down this year.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Hebron. That'll change in the next couple weeks. So it really comes down to Coppell and Flower Mound. Both are 2-2 for that 4th place. And I'm trying to think. I went and looked earlier. Coppell and Louisville are the 2 big schools. And Flower Mound would be the 3rd largest school in that district. So
you play Coppell?
It would be Coppell or Flower Mound. Ends up being
on how the record goes.
Yeah, it could be that. Hebron and Marcus are the small schools.
Could be here.
Yeah. The Plano schools 0-4, 0-4, and 1-3.
Flower Mound's never played here. Coppell has.
Yeah.
Well, they're on a roll.
Yeah. Coppell and Flower Mound are both 3-4 in the year. So, although Flower Mound's quarterback is actually a University of Florida commit, Nick Evers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the rest of the team isn't so good. So that's the potential down the road for first round playoff game. I got 2 more things on my list, guys.
It's crazy to think that we're getting this close to playoffs.
I know. 3 more regular season games. 2 of them at home finally.
Yeah, that's good. Homecoming, always look forward to homecoming.
Well, and
we got to get our mums ready, guys.
I think 3 of the last 4 games are going to be at home, possibly, too.
Well, the playoff game.
Game,
hopefully it'll roll that way for us.
The last game of the season that we've got is a Thursday night game, right?
That's
right.
Okay. On the November 4th.
Yep. Against Braswell.
Yeah.
High scoring team. We'll see what happens there.
2 more things.
2 more things. First being Eagle Fan Jam.
Yep.
If y'all that have listened to the podcast remember,
the basketball
guys were here a couple weeks ago, and John mentioned he didn't have all the details yet, but they do now for Eagle Fan Jam. It's on October 30th. It's a Saturday morning.
October 30th.
First thing I want to mention is this is a charitable event too, and they want you to bring canned food. So if you're coming,
clean out your cupboard of non-expired food, and if you don't have stuff in your cupboard, go buy some canned food.
Go buy some canned food. I mean, it's that time of year. Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is coming up, and there's always people in need, even not around holidays. But bring some canned food for the food drive. They're going to have intra-squad scrimmages between 9 and 10.
Right.
At 10 o'clock, the varsity will have an inter-squad scrimmage from 10 to 11. From 11 to 12, they're going to have a 3-point contest versus community members.
Ooh.
So I don't know who that'll be. And they're also having a slam dunk contest, of which yours truly are going to be the judges. So we are going to be there that day.
We'll put our tinfoil hats on and be judges.
We are going to do podcast that day from Fan Jam in the gym. We're going to have our podcast about the football game against Prosper. We're going to have a bunch of guests. We're going to have the coaches. We're going to have players. We may even have some coaches' wives to sit down and talk with us. And anybody else that we see walking by, we're going to grab.
Yeah.
And we will have, so that podcast will probably be pretty long, but it'll also be pretty fun.
And we may have some trivia questions. We may have some gifts. We will have some gifts.
But they'll have food trucks, and then from 12 to 1, you can get interviews, you can get autographs, you can get pictures with the players.
Right.
It's going to be a fun morning. Again, October 30th. And so we'll be there. We're looking forward to that, hanging out with those guys and getting involved in the community event, which will be a whole lot of fun to take care of. So come on out, watch us be stupid as we judge,
and have some fun. If you've got a kids game in the morning, just finish the kids game and come on up.
Yeah, it runs, like I say, from 9 to 1, so there's several hours. You can come for a little bit, and then you can't. Do your best to be there. Like I say, food trucks, you can get food there, and your kids will have a great time. And a lot of the kids love, they look up to those basketball players, and one of the things they say on here is they're going to do autographs, which brings me to my last topic. And I need y'all to send me pictures.
What a great young
Jackie
lady.
To send me some more pictures.
I've got some pictures, I think, on my phone.
The game against Little Elm 2 weeks ago, after the game, we were down on the field just talking to people and goofing off and stuff.
Took a bunch of pictures. The Green Twins, were there. Bryson
Green Twins and the current players,
yeah.
and talking to admin people and teachers and everybody, coaches' wives and that we knew down there. And we're standing there just yakking, and I feel a tap on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I turn around, and I have to admit, because I didn't pay that close of attention at first because we were in the middle.
Didn't realize who it was.
I didn't realize who it was, but there's a young lady standing there, probably, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
And she's going to get me for that, but and she's got a book in her hand.
Yeah.
And she's got a pen. And I look at it, and she goes, "Can I get your autograph?" I was like, and I said this because I didn't want her to think I was somebody that I wasn't, in case she was trying to get the wrong person.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, I wasn't saying, do
you really want my autograph?
She goes,
it wasn't to say, don't you know who I am?
Yeah, no, it was like, I wanted to make sure she wasn't misidentifying somebody. She goes, yeah, you're one of the Balding Eagles. And I looked at her again, I said, and it was Caitlyn Cockrell, Coach Cockrell's daughter, who we've gotten to know from the scrimmage at Hebron. We've got all the Cockrell family are good friends of ours, and we talk to them pretty much every week. And she was going around getting autographs of all the players and people Allen affiliated, and
documenting it in the book.
And so
that was incredible.
I got a picture, and David's sending me some right now. I'll put them in there. Just she's got everybody's autograph now from the Balding Eagles that were there. I said, everybody get over here. And so we all signed her book, and Caitlyn, we appreciate you thinking of us like that.
Yeah.
It's
great for you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and do that. That's an awesome thing.
It was pretty cool. And of course, David's wife, Jackie, she just started laughing. She goes, "Oh, that's going to go to your head. Somebody asking you for your autograph." I was like, I came home and told my wife, "You're not going to believe what happened tonight." Because she left early. Yeah. She left the start of the fourth quarter. And she missed all that. And I said, we got our autographs asked for tonight. It was pretty funny. But Caitlyn, thank you for doing that. That made a bunch of old guys feel great that you thought enough of us that you wanted our autographs for your book, and whatever else we could do to help you, we appreciate it. It was fun. So that's all I had.
John
Bell.
John Bell, yes.
We love you, brother.
John,
good hearing from you.
We got your text Friday. Apologize for not getting back to you. You're right. You do. You are in need of a refund from NFHS for not giving you audio related to the band.
What's up with that, NFHS?
Yeah, I agree. John said he spent $10 on NFHS to watch the game, and the band came on at halftime, and they didn't do anything. They didn't give him any audio of it, but when Guyer's band came on, they did. He goes, I think I deserve a refund. John, we know you're not feeling great, but hang in there, buddy, and we appreciate hearing from you, and thanks for reaching out. Allen, you too, bro. Hang in there. Get those lungs healed, and so we can get back to having a full crew here.
Yeah.
And people get tired of hearing me, David, and James talk the whole time.
Yeah.
So... anyhow, next week it's a 7 o'clock homecoming game, so if you want to see homecoming court, come early, because they'll do that before the game.
Come by and see us at the tent. Just come by, sit down, talk a while.
We'll be there starting about 2:30 on Friday. Come by, say hello.
Yeah.
Love to hear from you, get your thoughts, comments.
And Professor Diggs, yes, there is a chip shortage.
I love Diggs. He's awesome. Thanks for being our buddy, man. We appreciate you.
He's got such a great acerbic wit.
He does. So, again, folks, appreciate you. Thanks for listening. And until next time, it's over, and we be out.